Hi and welcome to a Desi's Guide to Mental Health. एक ऐसा पॉडकास्ट है जो कि टोटली देसी है, बाय देसी साइकाइट्रिस्ट है और हमारे देसी गेस्ट अपनी देसी मेंटल हेल्थ जर्नी शेयर करने वाले हैं. So the focus is going to be on mental health awareness, but don't worry, we'll keep it light. We'll have some fun things to do. And we are going to talk about everything related to psychology, psychiatry, wellness, holistic care and bettering yourself. So, my name is Dr. Eradatta and I am a psychiatrist. पेशे से साइकाइट्रिस्ट हूँ, मतलब मेंटल हेल्थ डॉक्टर, बट मैं सोचती हूँ कि मैं मेंटल हेल्थ निंजा ही बेटर हूँ. और आज के हमारे जो मेंटल हेल्थ निंजा एक्सपर्ट आ रहे हैं वो एक्चुअली स्किन एक्सपर्ट भी हैं. सो प्लीज ब्रेस योरसेल्फ लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, डॉक्टर इशद अग्रवाल. हाय.
Hi, Ara, how are you?
I am great. Thank you for coming, and I'm so grateful that you could make time. You're a busy doctor. So let me introduce you. But before we introduce you, एक rapid fire round. क्योंकि आज
Right.
ठंडा दिन है तो
You're
हम
starting off with rapid fire.
yes. So we'll make ourselves cozy.
Yeah,
Okay.
tell me.
Simple.
Okay, yeah.
This or that.
Yeah, right.
What first thing that comes to your mind?
Okay.
MBBS or MD days?
MD,
Are you a morning bird or a night owl?
morning bird.
Shimla or Calcutta?
Shimla, any given
So
day.
people, he's from Shimla. He's from the cold, hilly Shimla, which is a common thing between
Yes.
us, by the way. We are both Pahadis. We are both Himachalis.
Okay.
That's our deep connect other than being doctor friends, right?
Totally.
Cat or dog?
None.
Okay, great. What's your biggest pet peeve? Something you're scared of?
Snakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So snake phobia, actually oindrophobia बोला जाता है, बहुत ही common phobia है. You're not alone.
You would be surprised that when I was a kid, मैं वो सांप वाली मूवीज बहुत खुशी से देखता था.
Okay, like Nagin?
Right? हाँ, जितनी भी वो इच्छाधारी सांप etc etc etc
Right.
used to be my favorites. However, if a snake comes in reality towards me, I think I'll be very scared.
I think most of us will be. It's a
Yeah.
very valid phobia to have. So that's what हम सबके कोई ना कोई pet peeve, कोई ना कोई phobia होते हैं, which make us so human.
Yes.
But let me talk about your accolades. Dr. Ishad is a MBBS MD doctor. He went to med school in Chennai for MBBS at SRMC, and he did his post-graduation in MD dermatology in 2014 from Calcutta, from Postgraduate Medical Education and Research Institute, right?
Yeah.
He is an aesthetic dermatologist. मतलब ये लोगों को सुंदर बनाते हैं और भी ज़्यादा सुंदर बनाते
Let me interrupt.
Sure.
I am a dermatologist
Okay.
who does practice aesthetics.
Okay.
तो मैं normal skin diseases भी देखता हूँ and bonus के साथ में आपको और सुंदर भी बना देता हूँ.
चलिए, that's great. So negative भी कम करते हैं और
Yes,
positive भी
positive.
बढ़ाते
Yeah.
हैं. That's how life should
Yeah.
be, definitely. सबसे अच्छी बात है, I think the most interesting thing about him is that he is also a social media influencer or content creator. Let me
Content creator.
rephrase.
Yeah.
क्योंकि स्किन के बारे में आप वहाँ पे बात करते हो, and I think that becomes very relatable for people. But ये हो गई आपकी professional
Yeah.
definition. I think it's very boring when I tell
Yeah.
people, oh, these are the degrees, these are the accolades. Why don't you describe yourself as a person, as a human, as as people would like to know more about you?
I think there are two. One thing that has worked for me in life as a human being is that I've never had plans. Like I never thought this is the life and this is what I'm going to be doing 10 years later.
Okay.
I'm a biggest believer of destiny. When things have to happen, I just get these subtle signs and I just follow my instinct, and this is where I'm today. So I think, and that is I think very true for a lot of people like me. Not everybody is meticulously planned.
Correct.
Not everybody is like they're not planning their lives to the T. So I am one of those people. I'm lazy as hell.
Okay.
But other than that, I think I'm very connected to my family. I have a daughter. She's 8 years old, and she's the love of my life. Other than that, I watch a lot of Netflix, people. Like,
Okay.
I think I'm addicted to Netflix, even while
Saying that in
traveling.
front of the psychiatrist?
Yeah, I am. You know what? I think, as doctors, we might want to preach a lot of things to people.
True.
But do we really follow everything? No. And I think that is what relates people a lot more. You are humans, you're not gods.
Very true.
Right? So even while I was coming to the studio here today, I was watching something on the Netflix. So
Okay.
yeah, I do read a lot of books. Yeah. That's about it. If I had all the luxuries in the world and all the money in the world, I would really spend all my time curating my vanity because I'm very vain, and I would also travel a lot.
I really like that about you. Whenever we meet, you say that I'm very vain, and
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you are unabashedly you.
Yeah.
क्योंकि काफी सारे लोग अपने रियल सेल्फ और एक जो आइडेंटिटी प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हैं उसमें बहुत डिफरेंस पाते हैं, राइट? व्हाट दे ट्राइंग टू शो द वर्ल्ड वर्सेस
Yeah.
व्हाट दे ट्रूली फील फ्रॉम इनसाइड. They want all these things and they want to be vain, but they
Yeah.
don't want to say it,
Say it.
right?
Yeah.
So great that you are very connected with who you are.
And it's also, every human being is very contradictory also. Like there are times, when I would want to, so I have a wish list of things that I would want. So there's like this LV, Gucci, blah, 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 Prada. I want to have everything as well. But मुझे ये लगता है कि अगर मुझे spiritual end पे भी जाना है, for example, I want to be, somebody who's very well connected to spirituality and everything also. But I have a very firm faith कि वो सब कुछ त्याग के नहीं मिलेगा मेरे को. पहले मुझे सब कुछ पा लेना है. And when, once you've achieved something that becomes of no value to you, once I've achieved all the luxuries in life, then I can maybe go become a monk as well.
Lovely. So
Yeah.
right now you're a doctor and you're here. I'm
Yeah.
glad. When you're a monk, we'll have another conversation.
Totally,
right?
totally, yeah.
So I'm so glad that you shared your work identity and then your personal identity, what how you want to be identified as a person. Since we're talking about mental health,
Yeah.
and you're a doctor,
Yeah.
and you see patients,
Yeah.
and I think हमारी मुलाकात कैसे हुई थी? Let me just bring it to context. I referred a patient to you.
Yes.
Of
Trichotillomania.
Correct. We will talk about that.
Yeah.
Correct. But मैंने first time जब I referred a patient to you and I realized that this person had skin issues, mental health needs,
Yeah.
and then skin issues, and I sent your way, and that's when we became friends and we
Yes.
started talking. How many of patients do you see in a day who really have mental health issues?
So let me just tell you in this manner, what do you really call a mental health issue?
Sure.
If you feel that somebody who really needs like a psychiatrist, for example, they're really looking depressed, they're not functioning well, maybe one person every day, right? But people who might need therapy, probably 90% of them.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're right. Disorders जो होते हैं
हाँ,
वो कम होते
वो
हैं.
कम होते हैं.
Issues बहुत common है.
Issues बहुत common है.
I totally hear you. So skin और mental health का क्या connection है?
बहुत ही गहरा connection है.
Meaning?
I would say that, you know what? Okay, so let me break it down to this way. जो skin diseases होते हैं,
Sure.
see, and this people would know, most of the skin diseases are chronic. मतलब वो कभी खत्म नहीं होने वाले हैं, आपको बार बार जाके दवाइयाँ करनी पड़ती हैं. For example, psoriasis. Imagine somebody having those patches all over his or her body, and it affects their life in every way. It even affects their life with their partner. It affects their life in every sphere. So obviously there is a component of that would lead them mentally challenged in some form or the other. And India is such a funny country that people think that वो issue नहीं है, but I feel it's a big issue. For example, if somebody is unmarried and wanting to get married and has psoriasis patches all over the body, I feel they need to have that very open-ended communication with their partner about it, or their would-be partner about it, which people would not. People would on the contrary come to the doctor कि अभी गायब कर दो, मेरी शादी होने वाली है, बाद में देखी जाएगी.
That's true.
Right? So I'm giving you another example of this woman, and she came to my room and she started sobbing, like literally sobbing. And she comes from a very affluent family, but yet sobbing. And she has some patches all over the face. So she's like, मुझे घर में सब ताने मारते हैं, देवर बोलता है भाभी ऐसी है, सास बोलती है देवरानी तो बहुत सुंदर है, ये तुम क्यों ऐसी हो, पति भी यही बोलता है. So I said कि शादी से पहले भी तो होगा ये, because वो तो जेनेटिक है, नीवस है. तो she like नहीं, तब हमने एक डॉक्टर को जाके दिखा लिया था, उसने दवाइयां दे दी थी, तो थोड़े दिन के लिए वो छुप गया था. Obviously शादी के बाद she shifted places and she wasn't using the medicines, and of course the spots started showing again. So that's where I felt, I wish I could help her, right? But of course I can't. So I told her, you need to first visit, and I actually referred her, but back then I didn't know you. I told her, you need to first go sort your mental issues.
Correct.
Right? Bring yourself at terms with them, bring your family at terms with them, and then maybe come to me, because I don't have a magic pill.
I'm so grateful to you for doing that, because I see so many doctors also doing the stigma part, by the way. I'm going to be very honest. I may piss off some doctors and that's fine, but मैंने देखा है हमारी डॉक्टर कम्युनिटी में लोग साइकाइट्रिस्ट के पास नहीं भेजना चाहते बिकॉज दे थिंक, पहली बात तो पता नहीं, द एज ओल्ड थॉट कीप्स कमिंग बैक कि साइकाइट्रिस्ट सुला देगा, नींद की गोली खिला देगा, विच आर ऑल मिथ्स बाय द वे, राइट? स्पीकिंग ऑफ, व्हाट आर द funniest myths you have heard about psychiatry or mental health in general?
Very cliched myths, yeah. Like कि वो वो मुझे, like if I tell somebody that I think it will do you world's good, why don't you do some therapy first? And they're like, and the mother will be like, अभी तो मेरी बेटी पागल तो नहीं हुई है. Number one, you know.
Correct.
And then she's like, and then people are like, नहीं नहीं नहीं, हम बात कर लेंगे, इतनी कोई जरूरत नहीं है.
Number two.
आप मत भेजो अभी, हम थोड़े दिन देख लेते हैं ऐसे ही. Then there is like a complete denial about it. कि साइकियाट्रिस्ट इंडिया में होता है ये सब कुछ. दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई हैव कम अक्रॉस कि यू नो डॉक्टर हमें क्या जरूरत है, इंडिया में नहीं होती है. बाहर जो रहते हैं उनको जरूरत होती है क्योंकि उनकी लाइफ में बहुत स्ट्रेस है. हमारी लाइफ में स्ट्रेस नहीं है.
स्ट्रेस ही नहीं है. मेंटल हेल्थ इज ओनली फॉर द अमेरिकन्स, नॉट फॉर द इंडियंस. हम देसी लोग को कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं होता.
हम तो आपस में बात कर लेते हैं, हमारी तो वेल नीट फैमिली है, बट उस वेल नीट फैमिली में इतने इश्यूज हैं. पीपल आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट दोस इश्यूज.
Look, I like the idea of having a well-knit family. It is therapeutic to be
It is.
having so many people around you, but that doesn't mean they can also be a source of your stress. They can also be a source of venting for you.
I
So
think-
सबकी situation unique होती है, right?
Totally, but I think nothing can be worse than being lonely in a crowd. That
वो
can
अंदर
be
से
a, you
feeling
know,
बहुत
like,
खराब
you know, you could be surrounded by 10 people around you, but if they don't get you, I think then you're struggling more.
Those thoughts are really dark.
Yeah.
वो thoughts जब होने लगते हैं ना, that's what I call the slippery slope.
Yeah.
वहाँ से शुरुआत होती है, and then it's almost like we have to pull the person with a crane out. It's very hard, a lot of heavy lifting. So coming back to mental health and skin, like you said, I'm glad that we're talking about our favorite thing. जब भी हम मिलते हैं, we always share stories around mental health and skin. We spoke about, you know, typically क्या चीज़ आप commonly देखते हो. Botox.
Alright.
And I want to say this, I'm not against or
Yeah,
pro before
pro.
people will judge me for कि मेरा क्या stance है. I want to say this very clearly. As a mental health expert, जब भी कोई dissatisfied होता है अपनी body image से, तो हम उसको बहुत ही नजदीकी से परखते हैं. बॉडी एक्सेप्टेंस बहुत आसान है बोलना, एक्सेप्ट कर लो, है ना. सो आई हैड अ पर्सनल इंजरी, आई टोल्ड यू, जब मेरी आंख में लग गई थी. बहुत आसान है, अरे अच्छा स्कार है, एक्सेप्ट कर लो. तो क्या हुआ? करना चाहती हूँ, करूंगी, ऑफ कोर्स विद टाइम हो भी गया है, डजंट मैटर. बट उस समय बहुत इफेक्ट करता है, राइट. सो व्हेन यू गो थ्रू अ पर्सनल रीजन एंड यू लुक फॉर ऑल द रीजंस टू फिक्स इट, तो body image dissatisfaction is one of the most common things that I'm sure you see in a day. My question to you is, of course you have ways to fix it. How do you convince somebody to not get it done or to get it done? कहाँ पे decide करते हो?
Okay, I think over the years, you kind of develop a very good sixth sense about these things. Okay, I think a lot of people come thinking that Botox is going to fix their life, right? Their intention of getting Botox done is very misguided, I feel. You know, especially the people who would come and tell you, this is my, you know, biggest red flag when somebody comes and tells me, I want to get Botox done.
Okay.
Right?
They're asking for it.
Like directly, I want to get. So if you've got Botox done previously, yes, great, I'll do it. But why do you want to get it done? Oh, because I saw my friend, she got it done. She's looking very nice. I want to look nice. Okay, great.
Comparison.
Still,
okay.
fine. That's a very
चलेगा.
valid thing. कोई कपड़े भी अच्छे पहनता है तो हम भी जाके खरीदते हैं.
हाँ?
And then when you peel the layers, you get talking, and someday, you know, after few sessions, you realize husband is not paying attention. She's or he, even he is craving a lot of attention and a lot of dissatisfaction. So this is where there's something that I've seen very commonly after fillers and Botox and whatnot. So I show them the mirror, I show them the pre and post picture, and they're like, yes, I'm looking good, I'm feeling great, perfect. 20 days or a month later, this lady is like, मैं बहुत ही दुखी हूँ. बट क्यों दुखी हो? किसी ने नहीं बोला आप सुंदर लग रहे हो. Then you are seeking validation externally. I think no treatment is going to fix you.
100%. I'm with you 100%. जो भी ये देख रहा है उनको एक चीज़ ज़रूर समझनी चाहिए कि जब भी हम कोई चीज़ करते हैं, ऑब्वियसली ये तो एक फिजिकल ब्यूटी का मैनिफेस्टेशन है. एक्सटर्नल और इंटरनल मोटिवेशन दो ही चीज़ हैं लाइफ में. बहुत अच्छी एक्सटर्नल मोटिवेशन, कोई मुझे कह रहा है वाओ यू लॉस्ट वेट, आई फील ग्रेट, आई एम नॉट गोना रिफ्यूट दैट. बट अंदर से अच्छा फील करना, वेट लूजिंग वेट और इवन गेटिंग बोटॉक्स डन टू फील द वे दैट आई वांट टू लुक, दैट इज इंटरनल मोटिवेशन. वो फुलफिल करना बहुत जरूरी.
बट गेटिंग बोटॉक्स डन सो दैट लोग बोलें कि आप बहुत ही सुंदर लग रहे हो. Also, I think, you know, a lot of people come for fillers and Botox as a cheat code.
अच्छा.
You know, for example, they'll come and say, you know, filler कर दो, Botox कर दो, मुझे पतला बना दो. And then I tell them, why don't you take the better route? Let's just make a holistic plan for you. Let's give you 6 months. We'll also do some energy-based devices and all that. And आप थोड़ा exercise भी कर लो, खाना भी control करो. No, वो सब नहीं होगा हमसे.
क्विक फिक्स.
हाँ, हमें वो करना होता तो हम आपके पास क्यों होते हैं?
तो हमारी जनरेशन
No, it's not. I think our generation is still better. I think the generation before us.
तो अगली जनरेशन हमारे पेरेंट्स के हिसाब से हमारी जनरेशन,
हाँ.
हमारे हिसाब से हमारी अगली जनरेशन,
Yeah.
उनके हिसाब से उनकी अगली जनरेशन. वी आर ऑल थ्राइविंग ऑन इंस्टेंट ग्रेटिफिकेशन. तुरंत.
Instant to another level, yeah, which is like it becomes so practical. At times, I have to send people back, said, I can't do it.
And I'm glad that you're one of those doctors who sends them back.
Yeah,
मैं बहुत सारे लोगों को जानती हूँ जो नहीं करेंगे, right?
हाँ.
They will appease the person and they say ठीक है आप मांग रहे हैं, let's do it. Speaking of another thing, trichotillomania, जो कि हमने पहली बार बात की.
Yes.
You thought I'm a trichotillomania doctor.
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
So let's break it down.
Yeah.
What is trichotillomania?
So trichotillomania, yeah, it's just an impulsive, compulsive need for a person to pull their body or their scalp, hair from any part of the body, basically, and it gives them an instant gratification. They cannot stop it.
Actually it doesn't lead to gratification eventually. I'll just correct you there. The first part you're bang on. Compulsive है, control में नहीं है, you know, it's instinctive. They kind of do it as like a second nature.
Yeah.
It's not a habit.
It's not a habit.
Habits are things that we choose, right? So a lot of people think that जानबूझ के कर रहे हो. No, it's second nature, right? Like some of us shake our legs.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, it does not give you pleasure.
Okay.
It does give you an outlet. क्योंकि compulsions का एक rule होता है. जब भी एक obsession है, it's on the obsessive compulsive spectrum. जब भी कोई obsession आती है mind में, उसको हम relieve करने के लिए compulsion करते हैं. थोड़ी देर के लिए anxiety कम होती है.
Okay.
Boom, फिर से anxiety बढ़ जाती है, फिर से आपको करना पड़ता है. फिर कम होती है, फिर आपको करना पड़ता है. That is the notorious part. I have seen a fair number of patients with trichotillomania. At one point, we were even running a small group with trichotillomania folks. किसी ने यहाँ से निकाले हुए थे पूरे गुच्छे. Some had gone for their eyebrows, eyelashes, beard for men, pubic hair, armpit hair, body hair, एकदम hairless completely. तो बहुत ही notorious है. लोग बात नहीं करते हैं. They have these skin lesions. They will go to doctors and they will come back and do that treatment and then again go back in a rut. So what are your thoughts when you meet somebody with this? Does your one alarm bell usually ring?
See, if it's a frank case of trichotillomania, the dictum is very clear. The primary doctor treating it is going to be the psychiatrist.
Right.
Yeah. Once they are like stable, then yes, we'll work on regrowing the hair.
Correct.
Yeah, so these are very, very, like trichotillomania is a very specific case.
Right.
This is not something that is a difficult challenge also because it's easily identifiable and everything. But like the rest of things that we did talk about, I think that is where the real challenge is.
Let's talk about stress and skin because
Oh yeah.
they're friends.
Yeah.
Skin is a mirror of how stressed out you are.
Everything.
Doctor, I haven't slept for so many days. ऐसे बोलते हैं लोग. Look, I'm having breakouts. बाल गिर रहे हैं. I think hair fall is something that bothers so many of us, right? Myself included.
Yeah, so, everybody.
Yes. So, how do you explain the stress theory? And कैसे आप समझाते हो लोगों को कि हाँ ये कारण तो हैं, of course, but stress plays a factor. Do people believe you when you say that?
Yeah. 100%. A lot of them. Like I would say 90% of the people, when they come to me, and they're like, the treatments are not working, your medicines are not working, हमारी skin तो नहीं चमक रही है, glow नहीं कर रही है. And I'm like, okay, let's sit down. Tell me what you've done for the last 1 month. And they'll be like, every night we are partying, we're doing hookah, we are drinking, we are traveling around the world. आज हम बाली में हैं, कल हम लंदन में हैं और परसों हम पता नहीं कहाँ होंगे. So you've taken as many flights. You've put your skin under a lot of makeup. You've not eaten well. You've actually gone ahead and done all of that things that's going to kill your skin any which ways. On top of that, we are not even talking about what's going on in your brain.
That's true.
Yeah. So stress तो है. और आज की जिंदगी में मेरे को भी है, आपको भी है.
Of course.
None of us are exempt to it. Having said that, I think that is where we come. That is why aesthetic dermatology is working well also. Because I think at the end of the day, Dr. It's very simple. I don't act like a preacher. I might tell them that you need to take these factors out of your life and that will do you good. But if they are not willing to do that, and that is not something this is not something where I would definitely want them to really go to a therapist also कि stress कम कर लो. I'm like ठीक है आप नहीं कर सकते हो हमारा काम बताना था. And these are the treatments that might help you. But then I give them a rider that if you do work on these issues as well, your results are going to be far better.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You can just show them the way.
Yeah.
You can't walk with them.
Yeah, you got.
Agreed.
But also like at the same point, how much stress can you take out of somebody's life these days?
Stress is not bad. I want to say this.
yeah.
ये stress के साथ जो हवा attach
हाँ.
किया हुआ है ना, stress बुरा नहीं है.
हाँ.
Use stress, so the good
Yeah.
stress is important. There's a reason why you and I left home at a certain time to get here today.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I did decide last night कि मुझे आपसे क्या बात करनी है.
हाँ.
That's the good kind of
That's good
stress.
kind of
I was
stress,
excited with that stress, right?
Yeah.
Stress जब unmanageable हो, stress जब आपकी biological drives को खराब कर रहा हो, तब stress बुरा है. तो
Yeah.
ये बहुत important है समझना.
I think biggest thing is people are not sleeping well.
That's
I
actually
think that
something
is
so important.
that kind of clicks.
आई थिंक स्ट्रेस तो हर लेवल पे ही है. एक बच्चे को स्कूल के एग्जाम के बारे में, जो कॉलेज में उनको उसके बारे में, नौकरी के बारे में, बच्चा के बारे में, सो मेनी थिंग्स.
Yeah,
स्ट्रेस
but
इज गोना बी देयर एट एवरी लेवल.
You know, like when I look at myself, when I was probably 18, and today, if I could meet myself, I would tell my own self, like, it's okay.
So what's
walk
a message
over.
you would give to a 18-year-old you?
I would be like, things are going to work out just fine. Stop obsessing. Stop taking so much stress. Stop thinking
Beautiful.
too much. Because it is going to work out eventually. You just trust your gut because that is what it's going to take you everywhere.
So I like that is a philosophy that you've merged out of over the
totally.
period of time, like
I
you
tell
said
this
in the
to
beginning.
patients. I tell this to parents who bring their children to me. I say, छोड़ दो इनको. वो कर लेंगे. आप अपने आप को देखो.
वो भी बात है बहुत.
हाँ, this is something that I think you would agree also on, that a lot of times parents bring their children with a lot of issues.
Yes.
And we talk about it. They're very happy when I tell the kids कि आपको junk food नहीं खाना है, ये नहीं खाना है. And then I take that moment and like आपको भी नहीं खाना है. Because you cannot be sitting there not working out, eating all the shit, and yet expecting your children to be perfect. That's not going to happen.
Absolutely. I resonate 100% with you. I think जब भी कोई child case आता है तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मेरे पास एक नहीं 3 लोग आए हैं. क्योंकि the 2 parents are also very important because the child is a reflection, correct? So I completely agree that we all need to do something for ourselves.
Yeah.
I want to talk about something very controversial, which is Indians and skin color.
Oh,
and
wow.
as a mental health expert, I get people in therapy talking about how they have been bullied, how they have felt rejected, not accepted. A girl was talking about one of her core childhood memory very recently in therapy, and she said that she was not invited to a birthday party by another girl because she said, तुम्हारा रंग काला है तो तुम मेरी birthday party पे नहीं आओगी. That stuck with her, and she went on to agree that I'm dark. And that's become sort of like, her thing. Ki wherever she goes, skin tone matters to her the most, right? So it's always at her forefront. So abhi bhi kya, do you think Indians are still color crazy?
Totally. I'm talking about my own daughter.
Okay.
Right? She's not dark, but she's definitely not like, like the fairest of them all, right? But she's, the other day she was like, it's so funny, and this is something that I've told a lot of people. So somebody must have told her about color, that everything, blah, blah, blah. And then Harnas Sandhu, she became the Miss Universe,
correct,
I think
correct.
so, if
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not wrong, right?
Yeah.
And my daughter is like, how can she become Miss Universe? She's not even fair. Imagine.
Yes.
7-year-old.
She think that's taken for being Miss Universe.
Yeah, and I'm like, why do you think so? She's like, but she's not fair. I said, who said fair is beautiful? And that's when I sat her down. I showed her Priyanka Chopra. I showed her Hana Sandhu. I showed her a lot of other women of color and who've done great in their life. So I think as Indians, it's, I think the problem is you start reading the fairy tales. The fairy tale is only about Snow White, who was the fairest. Look at the line in that book.
Absolutely
who is
agree.
the fairest of them all? And that's where it starts. I think that's where the problem is. Look at our songs. They're like, when it comes to boys, it's like Savra Salona.
And
When
like
it comes to girls, it's like Goriya Re, right?
Absolutely.
So
I agree with you. I can't resonate more. वो बहुत ही conventionally हमारे देसी minds में stuck है. In fact, when kids are born,
Yeah.
I think मैं बहुत सारी mothers group के साथ connected हूँ, and one of the most common questions in that group is, I kid you not,
Yeah.
how can I make my child's color lighter? And this is an infant we are talking
Yeah, we're
about.
not even-
And I am not joking. There is there's a PDF doing circle in the mothers group कि क्या क्या करना चाहिए,
Wow.
देसी नुस्खास. Now, I'm not against somebody wanting to get into a little bit of vanity for themselves, for their
Yeah.
child. It's okay. हम सबको चाहिए कि हमारी चीज, हमारा person अच्छा लगे.
बहुत अच्छा लगे,
But not at the stake of changing
Changing them, yeah.
Correct? So acceptance बहुत important बन जाती है. So when you have this conversation with the mothers or with girls who are, or even men, I'm going to
Yeah.
be very honest. It's about men also, right?
Yeah. I think right now, the Indian society is right now at a very precariously pretentious moment. I'll tell you
Okay.
why. So the conversation starts like this. And people are, I think we were discussing this. People are pretending to be woke, right? But they're not.
अंदर से नहीं है.
अंदर से नहीं
अंदर
है,
से
अंदर
खोखले
से
हैं.
देसी ही है.
Totally.
So,
We are desi.
they will come and they'll talk, doctor, all right, and with all the accents and blah, 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 and everything's like, we're not looking for fairness. We just want her skin to be clear, blemish-free, blah, blah, blah. It starts off with that, and then we start with the treatment, and it's like, if you say like, 2-3 shade to fair ho hi jayega na.
There you go. Snuck it in, right?
It's like they don't want to say it out because they know that they'll be judged for saying it
Correct.
out.
Correct.
And the kids are all studying in America. Kids are all abroad.
That's true.
Right? And that's where it hits me. It's not just, you'd be thinking ki, it's there in every segment of population.
Agreed. Not just like
nobody.
one segment,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
stratas of society.
Yeah.
Another similar parallel is people saying, we have a daughter, and now the second child, we don't mind, doctor, whatever it is,
Yeah.
but if it is a boy,
yeah.
or even for the first one,
Yeah.
if it is a boy,
That'll be great.
our legacy will continue.
Yeah.
And I think that really breaks my heart because
Yeah.
that really gets me thinking like, वही हम सूडो वोक हैं.
हाँ,
हम अभी really
pseudo-woke
woke
हैं.
नहीं
नहीं हुए हैं.
अंदर से देसी, अंदर से खोखले, अंदर से we're still adhering to that.
You know
right?
what? I think it's so funny at times. What has this woke thing become? It's become very funny because what happens? These kids come with their mothers and they're all obese. And this has happened to me. I said, you know what? You've got PCOS, you have acne, you've got hair loss, and you've got these black lines on your neck. This is directly related to your body weight. It would be great if you could shed a few kilos.
Correct.
Work out and, work on your eating. And the girl is like, you can't body shame me.
There you go. I actually wanted to pick this topic with you. So this is the time which we are living in where doctors are giving you medical advice, by the way, and it is being taken as, this is something, by the way, some of my patients and clients have told me that I went to XYZ doctor and the doctor privilege shamed me, the doctor body shamed me, and the doctor even shamed me for, having, this condition because of just the privilege that I'm born with. Wow. So, but tell me, losing weight equates to better lifestyle, equates to everything. I think that's basic medical this thing. So we've become a generation of who likes to get offended very easily.
Very easily.
आराम से.
Yeah.
है ना? और यही चीज Instagram पे पढ़ लोगे तो कोई बात नहीं.